Since when did he schedule the Highdeologies? What? Didn't schedule no Highdeology. It took me a minute before I started it. I haven't even knocked the crusty sleepiness off of my voice yet. You're already giving me shit. Already giving me shit. Good morning. Woo, yeah. It's true. It's everybody's last day on Earth before the spiders come. I see you have prepared yourself for I. Sure. I mean, is there any seasonings you like, cosmic spiders? I mean, if there's any, like, spice rub that you want me to put on, let me know. The septic tank was an important invention. It was. You're right. Yes. Yes. The septic tank. I hear the spiders love neckbeards. It tickles their fangs. Yeah, that's true, Derek. That's a wake and bake triple combo. Congratulations. I, too, have a similar setup going on here. I have some weed. I have a bowl. And a dream. Tickle my fangs. Are you witnessing my metamorphoses? No, not yet. The time to shed this human skin is not yet. I mean, no. You're out of weed. Sounds like a problem for the weed man. Sounds like you need to give a ring to the friendly neighborhood weed man. Tell him to get with it. Tell him you need him. The time to shed this mortal coil is not yet upon us. Soon the dark overlords. Dude, I kind of realized that I ripped off Howard the Duck as well with that idea. Howard the Duck kind of had the cosmic arachnids. Literally did. Like they had built some fucking space communication tractor beam thing, and they accidentally pointed it at the wrong part of the galaxy and sucked the dark overlords out of space or whatever the fuck. Good morning, Squid Blue. And a good day to you, sir. Mr. Sellers, it goes without saying that my associate and I are enormous fans. Oh, he no can hear you. He has health problems. Does he still write? Yeah. Does he still write? Oh no. He has health problem. Larry, sweetie. Those men are here. Hope we can do this the easy way, Larry. Because I know you know why we're here, Larry. Yeah. These men are with the police. Oh, no, man. We didn't want to give the impression that we were with the police exactly. We're hoping we don't have to involve the police. Isn't that right, little Larry? Is this your homework, Larry? Is this your homework, Larry? Larry, is this your homework? You're entering a world of pain, Larry. We're going to cut off your Johnson, man. A fucking movie is so good. Yeah, Larry never says a fucking word. He just watches. Just finished. This is what winning looks like. Yeah. Pretty fucking depressing, huh? You're killing your father, Larry. Little prick stonewalling me. You might want to watch right out that window, Larry. It's time for you to learn what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass. You ever heard of Vietnam, Larry? Paul, I used to watch you on DP a lot. You look different now. Okay. Paul, you can totally pull off a Roger outfit for Halloween. Roger? Roger who? Quick question. What video editing software did you use back when you were editing? Premiere Pro. Is this your homework, Larry? Is this your homework, Larry? Larry, is this your homework? Is this your homework, Larry? Did you do this homework, Larry? Yeah, dude, it's in an evidence bag. Is this your homework, Larry? We're gonna cut off your Johnson, man. Are you aware of Vietnam, Larry? Have you watched WandaVision? No, I have not. Don't have thoughts on the show. Paul, if you could build a secret passageway in your house, where would it lead, and what would the entrance be? Oh, this house is weird already, man. This house is almost like feels like a secret passageway. It's designed and laid out very strangely. There are a lot of doors in the house. It's a very old style of layout where people I think were more apt to segregate off most of the house. Like if you go into like more modern houses, they have like this what they call an open floor plan where everything is kind of built around one big room. This house is not like that. This house is built around a bunch of separate rooms. Now the front of it is all open. Living room, dining room, and kitchen are all the front of the house. But then everything behind that is all a maze of doors and hallways and shit. So if I was going to build like a secret passageway in my house, I'd probably put it in the garage and have it let out in that field that's across from me over there. Like build a secret escape tunnel out of the house. Yeah, it's they call this type of house a shotgun house because it's long and thin, kind of, I guess. But yeah, I do like a tunnel underneath, like a thing I could go down into, hidden in my garage, and then across and up out of that field so I could get away. I honestly, I don't know the square footage, to be honest with you. It was on the fucking paperwork that I signed and shit. I can't remember. 1,200 square feet, 1,400 square feet, something like that. That sounds pretty small. I don't know what it is. 4,000. I don't know. It's like a normal sized house to me. It's like a normal sized 2-bedroom house. Or 3-bedroom house. Yeah. I forgot that my office is a bedroom. Oh my God, Fuba joke, dude. Gronkowski joke. Get out of here. I know I'll be ostracized for saying this, but I just saw the 1993 classic Ninja Scroll recently, and it's a good film. Why would you be ostracized for saying that? You're really prepared to be ostracized for that? Man, you got to work hard to be ostracized around here. You really got to work harder than that. Paul, just what? Oh, it's anime. Paul, just watched this movie on Netflix called I Care a Lot. Have you seen it? No, I have not. Can someone drown Tucker Carlson in a septic tank? Is one of the funniest jokes I've heard in a long time. Who said that joke? That's a pretty good one. I have a confession. I watched all of the new Tom and Jerry. Why are you? Who cares? Congrats. Oh, I said that? Okay. All right. That does kind of sound like something I'd say. I've never had enough exposure to the opinion on anime, one way or the other. Oh yeah, dude. I've done apple weed pipes. Somebody needs to do like a Biden cover of What's My Name Again. That would be good. Have a few buckaroos. Well, thank you. Does the apple make it taste differently? You can taste a little bit of that appley flavor, yeah, when you're hitting a fresh apple pipe. You got to make sure you get like red apples for that, though. Green apples don't work as well because they're a little too juicy on the inside. You need a drier apple. Hello, morning dove. How are you? Now you're going to get ostracized. You said you watched Ninja Scroll and nobody showed any interest, and now you're in here evangelizing Ninja Scroll, bro. Now you're going to get ostracized. Yes, that's how you get ostracized. The only food I've used as a pipe is a pumpkin. Ooh, a pumpkin pipe. I've never smoked out of a pumpkin. I've never done a gourd pipe. That kind of sounds good. A tip at the top of the morning to ye. Paul is the gamer king. I can do anything. Ever smoked out of a snowball? You ever made a pipe out of weed? And then smoked weed in the pipe made out of weed? Yeah, dude. The old aluminum can pipe. It was typically a beer can in my teen days. Tried and true, baby. And the easiest pipe to make, too. I mean, you just really don't even have to fucking do much. What pipe you done? What pipe you done, Paul's ego? Paul, time to get real personal. What's your preferred sleep position? Back, side, stomach? I am a side sleeper. Yeah. An aluminum foil pipe works well too. I've you gotta have a little bit of ingenuity, especially as a young stoner. Sleep. What's sleep? Yeah, I do the pillow between my knees maneuver. The problem is that I'm a bit of a restless sleeper, and so I roll over a lot, and so the pillow between the knees typically doesn't last all night. Do you think Apple will market a cartridge vaporizer ever? Probably not. Be right back. Gots to blow my nose. There we go. Whoa. The sun has risen. The sun hath risen. The time of suffering is nigh. Joshua was in here talking about Ninja Scroll while I was gone, I can tell. He's got that fucking guilty look in his face. Paul's gone. Maud's asleep. Talk about Ninja Scrolls. Yeah, I've yet to run into one of these like more modern survival DayZ-like games that I can enjoy. I've tried out a few of them, and I think what it comes down to is I'm really bad at the base building part of it. Like, I'm not good at conceptualizing a base and then like, okay, I'm just gonna lay this down and do this and make a staircase here, and like once you get to that point, like I've played a couple of fucking survival games to that point, and it's like once you get to that point, I just feel like an idiot because all I can do is make a big room, you know? Like I don't know how to do it. I'm not great at the design things in games. I typically don't like games that force you to design something. Now, I like city builders if they're done correctly. Like, what's my favorite city builder called again? It's like the Cuban one, Tropico. I played Tropico 4, Tropico 3 a lot. I like the Tropico games because I don't feel like an idiot. Like I feel like I'm doing the right thing in the Tropico games. Like I lay out a city and I feel like I can do it. I've never played City Skylines, no. Hey Paul, was Cenk right? Isn't Biden like a nice comfy sweater? Dude, I saw Cenk tweeting the other day about how awful it was that Biden was bombing brown people overseas and blah, 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 blah. And all I could remember was his sweaty ass election night and all of his simping for Biden and all of the bullshit. And I just wanted to fucking spew my bile at the buffalo on Twitter, but I didn't. Biden's like a nice comfy sweater. The Cenk Sweat Index, yeah. There's definitely a lot of base building in it. Yeah, the Norse Viking aesthetic is pretty damn cool, though. Yeah. It's always a scramble with the Young Turks on election night. It's hilarious. Yeah, they are pretty fucking hilarious. Yeah, Biden is like one of those itchy woolen sweaters that your great aunt sends you on Christmas. That she knit herself that she'll never wear because it's hideous. Am I salter than Anna Kasparian? I mean, I don't know, dude. Yeah, that's up to you. I avoid her. Like I can't take her seriously. I can't listen to what she has to say. Same thing with Cenk. Like if it's not election night, I cannot listen to his analysis on shit. I cannot take him seriously. The two of them in my mind are like clownish figures, and I am watching them try and be serious about things like skeeves me. Have you ever seen him freaking out at the airport? Yes. I've seen the Cenk airport meltdown. Yes. How come you don't like the Young Turks? I honestly can't fucking put a finger on it. I just think they're hilarious for thinking that they're some kind of indie media outlet, some kind of alternative to the mainstream, or at least presenting themselves as such. I think that Cenk is a hilarious guy to watch try and portray emotion. I love when he gets all sweaty. The kind of like saltiness of them. I don't know. They're just clownish in a way. I don't know how to explain it. They seem buffoonish to me. What do I think about David Pakman? Once again, I don't watch a lot of these political commentator guys, to be quite frank with you. So I've seen some David Pakman. I think he's a little like dry for me, but whatever. He's had some good takes on shit. I like Kyle. If I'm gonna watch a political commentator dork, it's gonna be Kyle. Or I suppose TJ if he decides to do one of his political screeds. Yeah, I feel about Pac-Man the same way I feel about like Sam Cedar. He's a little dry. Once again, like Sam Cedar to me is a little dry. He doesn't he has some good takes on shit that I've seen clips of and stuff, and I couldn't like go to that guy for my news every day. If I was like looking for somebody to give me news anyway. I think Kyle repeats himself a little too much. Well, Kyle's actually a pretty skilled communicator. There's a principle in entertainment and in news and in business in general, which is tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them you told them. This is a way to parse information that makes people more likely to internalize it. So teachers learn how to do this. Business leaders learn how to do this for corporate conferences. Trainers learn how to do this. Technology trainers. I was a technology trainer for a lot of years, so that was a huge part of how I structured my trainings. You tell them you're gonna tell them, right? So you tell them about what you're gonna tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them you told them. If that makes sense. And that's an effective communication tool. So that's why you might feel like Kyle is repetitive, because he is. By design, he's repetitive. He wants people to walk away not just with a smile on their faces or a feeling like, oh, I watched good analysis. He wants people to walk away and internalize the things that he said and carry them forward. And one of the best ways to do that is planned repetition. It's called frequent exposure conditioning. Sure, there you go. Got ourselves a psychology major in the chat. Always something to learn on these streams. Now that actually is a really good principle of communication. Little dove, why do you sound so sad? Why do you sound so sad, little dove? new kind of animal do you see where you are now compared to Louisiana? Well, this mourning dove that we're listening to here, I'm going to try and show her to you. Let's see. Let me get out of the sun so I can see what I'm zooming on. There she is. Or he, I suppose. Someone's going to see an airplane and use their internet autism to track you down, Paul. Dun, 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 dun. How close do the trains come? The trains are probably about, I don't know, like half a mile or so, maybe a little bit more than a quarter mile. Between a quarter mile and a half mile from my house. You ever watch Jesse Ventura's show on RT, his show and his son's show, Watching the Hawks? It's actually really killer, very leftist. Yeah, I haven't checked it out, no. Now, Paul, I don't mean it to get too personal. I don't mean to annoy you either, but I gotta know, the people deserve to know. Is that bacon finished? Bro, you guys are so impatient. The bacon will be done when it's done, okay? It's coming along nicely. That's all I'll tell you. It's sizzling in the pan. I would be more concerned about Biden coming for Paul. He doesn't seem to like the other DFF hosts too much. What? Huh? Yeah, the next 10 years are going to be tough for rock star losses. Oh, I see. When I'm doing the impression, I see. Do you enjoy the Matrix sequels? Good question. There are things about the Matrix sequels that I enjoy. I think they fall off in order. So The Matrix, I think, is a brilliant film. The bacon is done. It's sitting in my fridge. Mr. Naughty Priest. You weren't supposed to tell people about that. Shh. Thank you, Mr. Naughty Priest. As always. So, yeah, the first Matrix movie is pretty brilliant in my mind. The second Matrix film doesn't quite reach it, but it has some cool stuff. The third Matrix movie kind of loses the plot for me, but once again has a couple of cool scenes in it. I just don't like the direction that they take the franchise, to be honest. When will he be the naughty pope? I mean, he's got my vote already. I think he's done his service as a naughty priest, and he deserves to at least be like a naughty cardinal or a naughty bishop. Is it pathetic that I haven't seen the Matrix movies? No. It's actually kind of like enviable that you haven't seen the Matrix movies. You should watch the first one at least, and if you like that, check out the other ones. Just be forewarned, they kind of go off the reservation a little bit, but Why do people always ask about Train Spotting? I don't know. I like the movie, but it's not a movie that I watch a bunch of times. So it's been many, many years since I've seen Train Spotting. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, but it does get brought up a lot. Because people want to seem cool. Maybe. You had religious parents and they didn't let you see Harry Potter. That's so lame. Religious people can be so lame. That is the movie with the ceiling baby, yes. Remember when Robert Carlyle had to cut his hair for the sequel, so he had to wear a wig for the first few episodes of Once Upon a Time? What? No. No. Oh shit, Mr. Naughty Mullah. Yeah. The CGI holds up well in the Matrix sequels as opposed to most movies today. Yeah, it's got some that's pretty bad, but I mean, it was top tier CGI. It was just, I don't know, so unnecessary. So jarring to go from a movie that was so based on it. I mean, yeah, they used tons of CGI in the first Matrix film, but it was all based around the real actors. Camera tricks and enhancements of the real actors. And then in the Matrix sequel, you get these very obvious CG representations of the actors doing certain things, and it's very noticeable and very jarring. Somebody said CGI hasn't changed since Avatar, and that's not true. Avatar was just such a genre pushing, like, that's one of the things about Avatar that people don't talk about much anymore when they talk about the quality of the film. It really pushed, it was like 10, 15, maybe years ahead of its time in terms of the quality of the CG in it. And so CG is still maybe just now catching up to that Avatar quality. Avatar was kind of boring, not gonna lie. I mean, it's not the greatest movie ever made, but there was something about it that was just absolutely fascinating to me. One of the very few movies that I went and saw twice in the theaters because I felt like it just needed to be seen again. Just a visual feast kind of film for sure. I really don't like Avatar. Yeah. Divisive movie for sure. I've never watched Sons of Anarchy, no. Favorite movie speech? Mine is Samuel L. Jackson and Deep Blue Sea. We've got to pull together. If we don't pull together, we're all gonna die down. That is a good one. I don't know if I have a favorite movie speech. I really love the screed that Daniel Plainview unleashes on Eli Sunday at the end of There Will Be Blood. You know, how it starts with him explaining why he has nothing to bargain with. I love it. He's sitting there eating like cold steak from the night before because he woke up on the floor of his bowling alley. And he's like, Those oil fields have been had. It's like, no, 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 Daniel, you know what I'm talking about, right? Talking about the Bandy Tract, one of the great unexploited areas of Little Boston. Drainage, Eli. Drainage, boy. I like Patton's speech towards the beginning of the movie Patton. That George C. Scott speech about how the very thought of losing is hateful to an American. That is why America has never and will never lose a war. Because the very idea of losing is hateful to an American. I like Sho'nuff's speech in The Last Dragon. At least we can all agree on one thing. The Matrix sequels are better than the Star Wars sequels. Yes, I agree. You're in timeout, Midnight Ghoul. You got 300 seconds to figure out how to talk about something other than Ninja Scroll, okay? Fucking weebs, man. They're so unruly. You have to be so harsh with weebs. Matrix came out the year you were born. Awesome. Thanks for making me feel ancient. It's okay. My wife does that every day. They don't follow basic age guidelines. Huh? Who? I got weeb friends who are all right. I mean, yeah, a weeb can be tolerable. A weeb can be awesome, but some weebs, man, they're just absolutely fucking intolerable. Weebs. 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 Oh my god, weebs. Let's yell at some weebs. Let's yell at some weebs. Have you ever collected trading cards? Yes. When I was in 7th grade, I started collecting basketball cards. I have an entire Fleer 1990, I want to say 1993 set, which is pretty cool, somewhere in a binder. I used to also collect X-Men, like the Marvel cards that were released. Marvel had trading cards, and I had a whole set of those as well. Might be worth something. Yeah, I don't know. I doubt it, but I also collected Garbage Pail Kids in the 80s. So yeah, I mean, like, trading cards and stuff were a real big deal when I was a kid. The sweaty king of lightning, like Naruto headband wearing weebs. Oh Lord, save us, dude. You don't even know, man. Here's a fun one, Paul. What's the worst sequel ever, and what is the worst prequel? Sorry, I missed your super chat, by the way. Abandoned Reality. I'm catching up on it though. What's the worst sequel ever, and what is the worst prequel? And which type of film is worst? That's okay. Let me keep your question up for a minute. Okay, the worst sequel of all time. Man, I don't know. The worst prequels for me are the Star Wars prequels. You have no idea how absolutely disappointing those were for people like me who were fans of the original movie and were around when those movies were popular. It was so underwhelming. The Phantom Menace is such an underwhelming prequel that it's hard for me to pick a worse one. As far as sequels go, Predator 2 is pretty bad, but I don't know if it's the worst sequel ever made. It's watchable. Just trying to go through my head. Like, that's the problem with asking, like, what's the worst this type of movie, is that bad movies are bad because you don't remember them. I think I talked about this on Cinema for Cynics one time. It's like a really, truly bad movie is not a film that, sticks in your head. Like, if a film sticks in your head, even if you found it bad, even if you thought it was bad, it's not a bad movie, really. So it's hard to say. Like, what is the most disappointing sequel? Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, was really fucking bad. So that might be it. Yeah, The Lost World is one of the fucking most hilariously bad sequels ever. Jurassic World 2015 is way worse. I agree. Hilarious that people are now standing the prequels and comparing to the sequels. I mean, like, they're better movies. I'm going to be dead out honest with you. Like, they're shitty Star Wars films, but they are better films in general than the sequel films. They're more cohesive. They're more fucking interesting. They have more watchable moments than the sequels do. Lens flare. This stream brought to you by Lens flare. Blue skies smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see. Bad movies are like bad episodes of Star Trek. There are more than I can count, and I can't remember them all. Yeah. True dat. What do cosmic spiders taste like? I don't know. I've never eaten one. I can't imagine they'd taste very good. Will I ever evolve into the next Pokemon form of myself? Is that what you're asking me? Contemplating a timeout. I'm going to let you slip. True or false, liberals would be willing to steal an election if able because they have no morals. What? What? Do you think younger generations can experience older films the way that people experience them due to technology advancement and higher expectations? Yes. Like, for example, my wife is a good deal younger than me. She's farther distant from like the silver age and golden age of movies, but we have sat down and watched some amazing older films together and really enjoyed them. The African Queen was a favorite of ours to watch together. A lot of Hitchcock movies. She's definitely, in the younger generation, but can still appreciate those films for what they are. Not to be disrespectful, but how old is your wife? She's 23. Nosferatu still holds up if you watch it alone. Yes. Yes, it do. Sequels versus prequels. I think sequels will also always win due to solid trilogies. Are any prequels holding up their weight how sequels have historically? Oh man, I'm trying to think. I feel like that there's an example of a really fucking fantastic prequel. Joker? Not really, because it's not really a prequel. It's more of like a franchise reboot, right? Like Joker is an origin story and a reboot of a character to give that origin story. So it doesn't really count as a prequel. In my mind, at least. Red Dragon. Okay, fair enough. Red Dragon may not be the greatest prequel ever, and it certainly doesn't even rise to the quality of the original, which is kind of what I think Abandoned Reality is asking about here. It's like, are there any prequels that rise to the level of the originals, and are prequels better than sequels or vice versa? I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm racking my brain because I feel like that there are good examples of prequels out there. Prometheus, no. Do you consider Temple of Doom a prequel? Is it supposed to be? Like, is Temple of Doom supposed to take place before Raiders of the Lost Ark? I did not know that. That it is a prequel. And then Temple of Doom is my favorite of the fucking Indiana Jones trilogy. The original trilogy. We don't count Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That movie never happened. That was a fever dream that we all shared. Shared hallucinatory experience, and it never happened. I did not know that. If true, then a good example of a sequel that I believe, or a prequel that I believe transcends the original. Yeah, Kingdom of the Crystal... Cringedom of the Crystal Skull was not fine, bro. Is John Wick the best trilogy in the last 20 years? I'm baked and drunk. Off to play Valheim. Love you, Paul. 10-year viewer. Have a good one, bud. Well, thank you for your donations today, Abandoned Reality, and your tough questions. I feel kind of bad. I wasn't able to give you definitive answers, but I'm really bad at these. What are your favorites, and what's the worst, and what's the best? I don't categorize things like that in my mind, and so I can't really summon up those answers super easily because I just don't. I don't do that, you know? Like, I have some favorite film. Like, I have a favorite film of all time, but I don't, catalog things that way. And John Wick being the best trilogy of the last 20 years, maybe it is, honestly. Like, the whole idea of these multi-part films, especially the classic kind of trilogy presentation, has kind of fallen off in favor of these Marvel Universe style films that all take place in the same universe. So you can't really call them trilogies. Five-engine train. That's going to be a long one. Oh, dope. Cool graffiti, though. Oh, man. I always want to catch a good graffiti train, but it just changed car types. I guess we got some good graffiti going by here. Let's see. Let's see if we can catch any. Bad cars for graffiti. Come on, give us some good graffiti cars. There we go. There's some graffiti. That's pretty dope. Scabs. See that one? Neat. Much blurry. Sorry. I had to zoom it. Like I said, the train is a possible half mile away, so I had to give you a zoom. I had to do the full zoom. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is a good example of a sequel that, in my opinion, transcends the original. Dude, a Mass Effect series would be amazing. Really, really, really good possibility at the very least for, a video game franchise film. And or, limited series or whatever the fuck. The Ace Ventura sequel is better than the original. Yeah, both of those movies are a little rough to watch these days. They're a little bit, they haven't aged well, let's put it that way. A Warhammer 40K series or any kind of decent show film would be great. It's so hard to capture that Warhammer 40K fucking aesthetic, though. For people, especially for people that are uninitiated to it. But I agree. If they did it right, it would be fucking amazing. Were it done correctly, it would be fucking amazing. Thoughts on video game trilogies? I like the Mass Effect trilogy a lot. Not to piggyback off of it, but I like the Warcraft trilogy. Warcraft, Orcs and Humans, Warcraft 2, Tides of Darkness, and then Warcraft 3, and Frozen Throne. It's a good trilogy. More work? All right then. Yes, me lord. Bye, Paul. I'm gonna go garden. You should start a garden now that you got some space. Maybe I will. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is considered a prequel. Sure. To the Blondie or Man with No Name or whatever shit. You would watch the 2D Clone Wars show. I think there's a lot of problems with the prequels. Plus, Mace Windu gets some badass moments. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care to watch a cartoon. I'm sorry. A lot of people complain about two-part movies, but I enjoy them. I agree. Like, The Godfather, for example, has got to be the biggest 1-2 punch that I can think of that ever happened. And The Godfather Part Two has to be one of the best sequels ever made. It's a sequel that rivals, if not exceeds, the original film, which is saying a lot when you're talking about The Godfather. The Godfather is like a triumphant film in my mind. It's so fucking good. And then I can't even imagine what it must have been like to be alive at the time and aware at the time that those movies were coming out, and to be able to take that ride for the first time and to wait for it and to see Terminator. Yeah, another good example of a movie with a sequel that I think a lot of people feel outstrips the original. Alien, another example. Like, for me, Aliens is my favorite film of all time, and it's a sequel, right? So, good examples here. I feel bad. right as that dude left to go play Valheim, I started answering his questions. It just took me a while. Two Towers is a good sequel, but I really don't consider, like, those movies are not like a trilogy to me. They're one film in 3 parts. Like, that's honestly how I feel about those. Any movies you wish had a sequel? The Godfather movies are amazing, but they don't depict the reality of the mafia at all. I didn't say they did. Like, that's not the point of the... Anyway, whatever. Are you still allowed on YouTube because you don't say anything controversial? I don't know. I think I say controversial shit. I just think I'm under the radar of YouTube. I think if YouTube took the time to watch one of these streams, I'd probably get banned. Pretty. What kind of bird is that? Anybody recognize that bird call? It's very pretty. Made me smile. You see that shit? It's a tit. Beautiful fucking tits. Once I get done with vocational school, I'm going to be tipping you, Paul. I'll finally have some money. Don't even worry about it. I appreciate the tips that I get. I genuinely do. But I don't do this show for the tips. You just kind of hanging out, participating in the chat is more valuable to me than the tips. I like hanging out with the people that watch my shit. I like having a venue to, you know, sit and smoke and socialize and challenge myself. So I do this for the enjoyment of it, my friend. How do you feel about right-wingers being more banned? Doesn't that make them more anti-establishment? I don't even really think the rules of being anti-establishment apply on the internet. Like, I don't think that the anti-establishment mindset that I'm familiar with is translatable to the internet. Today's going to be a good day, Paul. I know it. I think you might be right. I think you might be correct. That's a good question, Red Dog. Like, which establishment are we talking about here? It's all become blurry. I'm mostly a lurker, use it as background noise for gaming, try to participate here and there, but I can't imagine saying anything too deep. I ape my ideas from you, Paul. Now, that's cool. I love myself some lurkers. I mean, there's 166 people watching us, and probably about 50 people maybe participating in the chat. So, you gotta love the lurkers. Lurkers comprise most of any streamer's audience. Like I said, like I've quoted this to you guys, but it's something like less than 3% of people that watch our show engage with it in any way other than leaving +1 to the view count. Yeah. Shout outs to my lurkers out there. I know you're there. I never forget that you're there. And you're just as important as the non-lurkers. Yeah, don't make the lurkers do shit. Like, a lot of lurkers are doing shit where they can't type a 1, They're playing some fucking games and shit. They're working. They can't be typing 1. Paul's too happy in this one. I'm weirded out. Sorry, bro. Brr. Joe Biden sucks. Brr. Sorry, I tried. I can't make it happen today. Lurking while I play Neo. Always happy to listen. That's cool. I've been thinking about getting Neo too. I watched Man vs. Game play it a bunch. Late at night. He's a streamer dude that I watch from time to time. And he's obsessed with the Neo franchise. And he kind of sold me on wanting to try Neo too. It looks fun. And I know it just got its release on PC and all that shit. I didn't play Neo 1, so I might be a little behind the curve, but I'm not really interested in playing Neo 1. Kind of want to play Neo 2. I honestly always thought people were cringy for being active commenters. I didn't much for over a decade. Then COVID happened. I had way more time on my hands. Yeah, I mean, it takes both types, man. I'm glad that you came out of your shell there, Zach. Because I truly, genuinely believe that as soon as I can, and as soon as you can, I will be covered in beautiful artwork made by you. Get started on my tattoo life. I remember looking at the chat like animals in a cage for years. Poor chat. Chat's getting pooped on by the lurkers. The lurkers are coming out to poop on the chat now. It doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about being deep. I often feel like nobody cares what I have to say. I mean, I'm super introverted in real life. I mean, you'd be surprised, dude. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being introverted, but the statement you just made was not an introvert statement. That was a depressive statement. I'm not trying to diagnose you. But thinking that nobody wants to hear what you have to say is typically wrong. People communicate with one another, and they love communicating with one another. We're a very social species, and we thrive on that. So you might not want to be so down on yourself. Why have gamers allowed the gaming industry to become so over-the-top corporatized? What do you think? What do you think gamers had a choice in there? Like, at what point do you think gamers were given a choice? Oh man, the red tails are out hunting. I got a really good sight of their tail the other day. I saw one take off out of this field here across from me that I can view. and the sun was setting. And so the sunlight came through those red feathers on the tail and just absolutely 100% confirmed that those are red-tailed hawks that I'm dealing with. And they are on the fucking lookout today. Yeah, they're hunting. Fucking crazy. How do you feel about censorship of science? I don't know. I don't know that is that a major problem that I'm kind of unaware of it. What do you mean censorship of science? Like, how is that being prosecuted? The labeling of scientific studies as misinformation? I see hawks and falcons every day on my way to work since I drive through farmland. I saw a falcon catch a rabbit the other day. Pretty dope. Dude, the other day I was out here streaming and shit you not, while me and Amelia were sitting here, I'm blah, 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 and I hear flap, flap real loud, like two flaps. And I looked and I saw the red-tailed hawk that's circling up here land right out here in my backyard, probably about like, I don't know, 100 feet from me. And stayed in the, like there's some tall grass out there, stayed in the tall grass for a second, killing whatever the little prey was, and then it took off, and it had some kind of rat or mole with it. And that was one of the fucking coolest things that has ever happened to me. Like, you can go watch that shit. I was like moved by that. It was crazy to see that happen that close. Like, I've seen hawks take prey before, like you're talking about, as I'm driving, but to have it happen like right there, boom. I move peanut bales all day during the season and watch hawks go to town on the ice. On the mice that stay under the bales. Yeah, I believe it. I'm waiting a year until I say Biden is just as bad as Trump, but I know he won't do anything game-changing. It was a harm-reducing vote for me. I know you're trying to tease an angsty rant out of me today, dude, but I'm tired of talking about Biden this week. He's failed enough this week. It's Sunday. I'm going to give it a rest. Sorry. Thanks for the $5, though. Go ahead and give it a year till you say what you want to say. I don't even really think that saying like Biden is better slightly than Trump is even fucking worth talking about. Like, I don't even think it's like, so many people have justified their vote for Biden on that principle, and I don't even think it's a principle worth discussing, let alone taking action on. Angsty salt, angsty salt. If evil as a concept exists, arguing over the degree of it is the ultimate waste of fucking time. I don't believe in evil, so the lesser of two evils concept is a little tainted from the jump. But even taking it as allegorical, like evil representing social ills, I still have a problem with it. Let me tell you guys what my main fucking problem with lesser of two evils voting is, okay? So let's set aside my problems philosophically with this idea of the existence of an evil. I don't believe that evil exists any more than I believe that genuine, infallible good exists. Here's the main fucking issue that I have with the idea of lesser of two evils voting, okay? It is very United States centric when used here in the United States. So we're talking about the possible reduction of harm to a few American citizens. But we pay no attention to, for example, to give a really newsworthy and recent example, to the destruction that is wreaked in other countries by our economic and military policy. So, was harm reduced overall? Or is my thinking globally wrong? Is my thinking, well, America, the harm that is imposed by America is not just imposed on its own citizen, it's imposed all over the world, in underdeveloped nations, etc. So, if we really want to get into the nuts and bolts of a harm reduction or whatever the fuck, lesser of two evils vote, do we just say fuck the brown people that the Biden administration is bombing and exploiting? Do we just say fuck the people who are living in fucking degradation and working in sweatshops to justify our consumerism? Do we just say fuck the people who are being pushed off of their fucking native tribal lands to make way for more fucking clear cutting to feed our insatiable need for products that come out of the fucking jungles that they lived in? So how can you claim that you made a harm reduction vote if all of those things are still happening under Joe Biden, and any little bit of harm reduction that we may experience here in the United States is being completely and utterly overshadowed by the suffering and pain and war that we export upon the fucking rest of the world? Am I wrong? Salt successfully extracted. You did it, bro. You did it. He did it. The son of a bitch did it. Skeptical sloth done did it. Harm reducing vote does not fix the problem. It buys us more time. More time to do what? Export more suffering? Where's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan to stop our bombing of fucking foreign countries? What's the plan to stop our constant exploitation of underdeveloped nations? What is the plan to stop our wholesale garbage dumping? What's the plan? What's the plan? What's the fucking plan? How does this lead to harm reduction when all it is a continuation of the exportation of Americans' misery to the rest of the world? How? What's the plan? Because nobody's able to tell me that. Vote for the lesser of two evils, question mark, question mark, question mark, material conditions, plan. What's the plan, bro? Shut up, Paul. Having a capable leader is harm reduction enough. Yeah. A leader capable of bombing brown people overseas and continuing to oversee a horribly, globally exploitative fucking economic market that takes fucking sweatshop labor and turns it into American dollars. Go fuck yourself. I hate that our leaders keep deciding to send us into endless conflicts in countries we have no reason to be in. 90% of U.S. citizens don't want that shit. True dat. New blood in politics running the goal of getting money out of politics is the start of a plan. They're not doing it. The new blood is not doing it. Nor is the new blood even trying, really, to provide us with the things that we need during this fucking pandemic. The new blood has not panned out. Meet the new blood, same as the old blood. Excuses for why they can't force a fucking Medicare for all vote. Excuses for why they had to pull the fucking $15 minimum wage out of the package. It just won't pass the Senate. Fuck it then. Let the Senate shoot it down. Let every senator in there that voted no have their name printed on the front page of every goddamn fucking website and newspaper in this country. What is the problem here? This don't try so we can try later shit isn't working out. Knock, knock. Who's there? Harm reduction. Get the fuck off of my porch. That was a good joke. Why does the new blood still run like mud in the veins of the American people? The new blood is a myth, yes. Even Jean Chrétien, one of Canada's most corrupt prime ministers, was smart to stay the fudge out of Iraq. Yeah. Here's a list of every elected official who voted against healthcare. Yep. Boom. And then you fucking bring it up again. See, the problem with this is that we don't have the votes to do this in the future. So all we have is performative politics. So this budget reconciliation process that's going on right now was our only chance to get the $15 minimum wage even close to passed. Unless there's some kind of sweep of Democrats in the midterms, which good luck in the fucking midterms, Democrats. Unless there's some kind of unprecedented sweep of Democrats because people are just loving this no health care, no checks, reduced checks shit. It's not going to happen. So this budget reconciliation process was our one chance to ram it through. And everybody just kind of like went, couldn't do it. Oh, well. Minimum wage is $16 in New York City. That's what I make. Yeah, but you live in New York City, where it costs like 3 times as much to live there as it lives anywhere, as it costs to live anywhere. I think the $600 plus $1,400 check thing will always stick in my craw. Of course it will. And now it's just like the $1,400 check. They just plopped out that excuse of like, oh yeah, you guys already got a $600 of that $2,000 check, so those $1,400 checks are coming. It's like, what? Wait, what? Huh? Say what? Good old syntax. That's why SIGs are so expensive. That good old syntax, yo. Gotta have that syntax. Let's count the engines here. Oh, those Keef hits can be killer, dude. I've yet to learn how to properly spark a Keef bowl. Oh man, that first hit. Do you ever get woken up by that rooster? You can't hear him in the house. I just made a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. Awesome. Amelia made me one of those the other day before work, and it was fucking delicious. Do you like Jell-O? Which flavor is best? I'm not a huge fan of Jell-O. I don't hate it, but I don't have like a whole favorite ass Jell-O thing. So no. So no. I love how right after the train leaves, I become super aware of all the little bird calls and insects and shit. It's like the train comes and it dominates my perception, and then it leaves, and I can hear the birds again. Imagine having a hangover every day. No. I don't have to imagine it. I was in my 20s once. Have the birds started screaming, Clarice? Yeah, dude, the poop guy is coming out of his shell. Let it happen. How quickly the boys found you, didn't they, Clarice? All those tedious, sticky fumblings in the back seats of cars, all while you could only dream about getting out, getting away, getting all the way to the FBI. You fly back home now, little starling. Fly, fly. One day he'll have a stream that's just reading the script line by line. Dude, that would be pretty good. Quid pro quo, Clarice. I tell you things, you tell me things. Would Hannibal Lecter be a better president than Biden? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe so. We'd have to probably like look the other way as he ate a few people, but you know, he only eats the rude, so. Imagine if the Reagan assassinator still went after Jodie Foster. Yeah, that's right. I forgot that. He wanted to. I remember that. He had a thing where he wanted to kill Jodie Foster. Do you call yourself a feminist? There seems to be a stigma attached to being one. I don't really understand why. Being a feminist, in my mind, means that you recognize that women were an underclass of human beings in America for a very long time, and that it takes a long time for an underclass to become part of the mainstream, and that there are still areas in which women need our help and support in attaining that. To me, that is the core of feminism. So I have no problem calling myself a feminist under those auspices. People try to make it seem irrelevant now. Well, people always focus on the fringes of a movement and try and use it to undermine that movement. There are fringe, like, rad femme ideas that get magnified by people who try and use those ideas to undercut the entirety of feminism. So, like, the idea that all PIV sex is rape no matter what is a rad femme idea that is held by, quite frankly, a very small number of feminists, but magnified into this, like, oh, look, see, feminism dumb. Just is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. What is PIV sex? Penis and vagina. Oh. No, it's just it's a term that I only know because I've heard the rad femme arguments. I think the magnification is the conservatives and the owner class trying to distract you from the real issues we face as a nation and a species. It's the same strategy of sapping any group of its merits. You point at the radical fringes of the group and define them as such. Right. Feminism isn't as important now in the Western world, but there are still huge chunks of the global population. Well, feminism isn't it's still important in the Western world, number one. Isn't as important in the Western world as a very Western world centric way of thinking about the world. I just got done going on a rant about harm reductionism and how I think it's folly if we, look at any place other than the United States and look at all the misery that the United States exports and look at what our growing population and growing economy does to the misery that we export. and how we take small victories within the borders of our own nation and use those to offset horrible atrocities all over the fucking globe and ignore them and call ourselves harm reductionists or lesser of two evils voters. I think it's an inherently fucking myopic, America-centric position that needs to be fucking knocked out of leftism. Leftists need to stop thinking of the United States as the only fucking place in the world. Stop looking at small social gains that we make here as if it offsets the oppressive fucking economic exploitation that we export, the oppressive ecological devastation that we export. Derek Jensen, in one of his endgame talks, in fact, in several of his endgame talks, talks about a conversation he had with somebody that listened to one of his talks. That person said, well, we're in New England and there are way more trees now than when I was a kid, so that's a victory, for environmentalists. And Derek Jensen said, no, it isn't. Like I said, well, how is that not a victory? Isn't that the whole point? And he said, no. Derek Jensen said, there are more trees in New England now because we stopped cutting down forests in New England and started cutting down timber forests in other parts of the world. So we exported the violence of deforestation to places like Finland and South America and Africa, and you see? It's not even a small victory. The aggregate of there being a few more trees in New England, meaning that we exported the violence of deforestation ever harder to support those trees, is no reduction of harm at all. It's no victory at all. That's the point. Southern lawyers save me. They trying to lock me up for chasing all the skunks at the park. Oh my God, dude, this guy's ongoing skunk thing. Surely there are worse addictions than that sweet, sweet musk. Man, this guy loves him some skunks every day. He talks about how much he loves skunks. I can't handle the skunk smell personally. Not my favorite of the smells. Yeah, every day he comes in and there's a new chapter. He's a skunk. He loves sniffing skunk stink. But Paul, remember, America's a great country, great at exploiting the rest of the world. It's just ridiculous. To me, it's nationalism has poisoned the minds of political generations since way before I was a child, since way before I was even born, since before my parents were born. And even people who are critical of nationalism get caught up in nationalism. For example, radical leftists who were encouraging you to vote for Joe Biden were caught up in an act of nationalism. They were caught up in an act of, let's gamble on possible but not probable social advances in very small doses here in the United States, and trade that for the continued exploitation of the third world, for the continued exportation of American violence to places where we have no business even being. So nationalism, it causes people to think that voting for Joe Biden somehow lessened harm in the world, or causes them to not think of the world at all. Voting for Joe Biden lessened harm in one country, possibly, maybe. It continued, and by necessity of our growing economy, expanded upon the exportation of that harm to other countries. So you reduced no harm at all. Well, imperialism and nationalism go hand in hand. It's very easily, once nationalism has been woven into the fabric of a country, to justify things like that is now ours. Nationalism becomes imperialism, I think, by necessity. I know Biden wasn't going to do anything special. I was just afraid of Trump doing unpredictably terrible thing. You mean unpredictably terrible things like starting a new war with Syria in the first month of his fucking reelection? You mean like that? What makes you think that Joe Biden isn't going to do unpredictably terrible things constantly for the next 4 to 8 years, dude? What led you to believe that? What evidence did you base that assumption on? I'm asking honestly. I'm not trying to be a shitbag here. I'm not asking you some shitty fucking gotcha question here. On what information did you base your assumption that Joe Biden wasn't going to do shitty, unpredictable things? Like airstriking Syria. He's a good guy, likes dogs. Dresses like a 50s. That fucking, did you guys see that fucking magazine cover of Joe Biden? Dressed like a 50s greaser. Dressed like a 50s bebopper or something. Dressed like fucking, he's about to star in like a fucking horrible sequel of Rebel Without a Cause. I'm only one standing between you and the corruption, Jack. Biden never said he wasn't going to bomb. He explicitly said he doesn't support progressive change. The only thing the lesser of two evils camp got was empty platitudes. Yeah. And the world got shit on a little bit more because of it. Are you familiar with Trump's actions? Trump's actions on Syria? Yes, I'm familiar. I'm also familiar with the lesser of two evilists using Joe Biden's campaign trail and debate quotes to claim that we were going to reduce harm in those areas. I'm a good guy, Jack. But please, let us not focus too much on the figurehead. And let us remember to throw salt at our national and state level leaders who are all failing us now at this time too. Lest we forget. Let's not just focus all of our ire and angst on hairy legs. Let's give it to the fucking House members and Senate members. Let's give it to your state government. They're all failing. They're all fucking you up and over and out. AOC is not your friend. Thank you, Marxist-Leninist. I hate to tell you guys, but she's not your buddy. She's an agent of the status quo. Watching Ted Cruz bomb in Florida was nice. I was driving to a doctor's appointment the other day, and I was listening to NPR in the car. And there was an NPR interview with Ilhan Omar about the death of the $15 minimum wage. And she basically just acquiesced to the fact that it was over, that they were beaten. She said it's a good thing to try, but you know, we're beaten. Nothing can be done. Not a word out of her mouth about Joe Biden's administration, about the fact that Kamala Harris is now the president pro tem of the Senate and can overrule the Senate parliamentarians' ruling and force a Senate vote. No mention whatsoever. This is like one of the like Star Squad members who was asked, like, what's the problem with this $15 minimum wage getting passed? Who made no mention of the fact that the party leader that she serves under and that we are all being represented by now did nothing. It was just like this milquetoast interview with Ilhan Omar, where she got to talk about how for the $15 minimum wage she is, but didn't actually point out why they couldn't get it passed. So the squad is not your friend. AOC is not your friend. Ilhan Omar is not your friend. Raphael Warnock is not your friend. These people are agents of the status quo. I believe information is so readily available now, it will be eventually impossible for politicians to hide their corruption. Then the problem is too many Americans aren't smart enough to look into it. I mean, it's already impossible. Their corruption is obvious and done out in the open these days. One of the greatest problems that led us to this point, giving disproportionate power to the southern states with the Senate and Electoral College, yes. Whoopsie daisy. We tried to fight for you. They didn't really, but people will support them based on that false promise. Yeah. We need to seize the means of production. Well, I don't know if I agree with you in a Marxist-Leninist way, but I agree with you in a union movement way. A new labor movement in this country is sorely needed. And the American people, if they don't seize the means of production, at the very least need a seat at the table of the means of production yet again. We need to be a force that is reckoned with and not a force that is exploited until we're broken. The working people of this country have got to realize that they are not going to be given that luxury. They have to take it. And the way that I see that happening in a functional way is a new national labor movement in this country. Dude, the red-tailed hawk is perched on a lamppost, and another little bird. You hear it tittering there? It's like dive bombing it, trying to chase it off. And it's not even bothered about it. The hawk just sat there anyway. If taken out of context, most of your union rants could be construed as communist rants, comrade. That's fine. That's fine. If you want to label me a communist, you go right ahead. But I don't work in labels. I'm pro-labor. Tom Steyer and Mike Bloomberg were some of the lowest performing candidates despite being billionaires. Can money really buy an election? Yes. That's one of our problems. The only thing the government will listen to is violence, in my opinion. They won't willingly give up their power no matter how much we protest, in my opinion. Protesting is not what I'm talking about. See, you and I have more in common than we think, and I think that you need to... I think, honestly, it would do you some good to look into the American labor movement and look at the principles of labor. I don't think, comrade, that we have a lot of disagreements. I do disagree that we necessarily have to try and violently seize the means of production. I think that a new, strong labor movement in this country, by the way, this country is ripe for that. We've just watched a $15 minimum wage be shot down, and people are looking down the barrel of making $7.25 in a world where that doesn't even pay half your fucking rent. Having to work 2-3 jobs to support their kids, fucking ridiculous, right? So if we start fucking organizing within that space, we have the means to shut down their factories, which is not seizing the means of production, but putting it on a leash. It's one step closer to what you're talking about, and it's not a fantasy that necessitates violence. They have us beat in the violence game. We have them beat in the numbers game. So we need to play the numbers game, and that is what a labor movement is all about, and a labor union is all about. It's about giving the American worker, and by proxy, the world worker, a voice again in their own employment, a seat at the table, a piece of the fucking pie, a piece of the productivity pie. The harder they work, the better they are at their jobs, the more they can demand in their contract. This is a fundamental way to take a piece of the fucking power back and put it back in the hands of people. And that is step one to what you're talking about as a Marxist-Leninist. You're talking about seizing the means of production. The first step is to use our only advantage, because we don't have the violence advantage. They can out-violence us now. We have a numbers advantage. These billionaires would only have a tiny fraction of their wealth to give a tiny fraction of their wealth to end homelessness, yet they don't do it. Why? Is it greed? Yes. It's greed. It's 100% greed. Yes. It's more important for them to hold on to that power for themselves and their families in perpetuity than it is for them to end homelessness, end want, end need in this country. Yes. See, this idea that they hate poor people, get that out of your head. That's not how we're thought of. You are a unit of labor to a billionaire. You're not even a person. They don't hate you. They don't consider you. You're a spreadsheet. You're a 0.01 on a spreadsheet, somewhere buried in the numbers. They don't consider you. They don't hate you. All right, Marxist-Leninist. All right, buddy. Well, you try and fucking do it. And watch your fucking revolution get put down so fucking bloodily and horribly that it never happens again. Like, that's just, we can't do that. Do you understand that we are outgunned? We may have the numbers advantage, but they have the shock and awe advantage. We talked about this last night. This actually came up last night. We talked extensively about the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War and the shock and awe campaign that America started the Iraqi War with, and how it shows that this type of fucking idea of militarizing some movement and using it to violently overthrow the government is a complete pipe dream. They can kill an entire group of you while you sit in a building. right? So let's say that you're part of this revolutionary group and you're having a meeting in a building, and the heads of different factions of this paramilitary revolutionary group are meeting in a building. You're going against a force that has the ability to surveil you to the point that they know you're in that building no matter what you've done to try and shake the tail, and put a hellfire missile through the peephole of that building from 2 miles up where you didn't even know it was, and destroy everybody and everything in it. Let's say you got what you wanted. You got a workforce who won its day and all you wanted came true. How do you make sure this doesn't happen again? I just want to get away from it all because of that. So the answer to that question is solidarity and the continued forward movement to the movement that I'm talking about. I talk about a labor movement and its establishing years. If we can establish a powerful labor movement in this country, we have the ability to affect everything in this country. All of the policy of America comes within our grasp because we've given ourselves a seat at the table, a seat that we no longer have as Americans. A strong, unified labor movement would give Americans an actual seat at the table of power yet again. And we could start actually doing things like forcing leftist policy because we would have the ability to shut down the means of production. Right. That's what I mean. By extension of what I just said, Vlad, you're absolutely right. We could fucking change the world. This is what I'm talking about. If I move this over here, is it any better with lens flare? Yeah, but it's harder for me to read. It's okay. I can deal with it, I think. There are no message boards meant for every employee in a Kroger to get together and chat. The biggest weakness of workers right now is zero connections. And that's completely and utterly a fucking stupid excuse now. A stupid fucking excuse now. It should be easier now to organize a fucking mass labor movement than ever. Social media allows us to, you could create a fucking Discord group, a Kick group, a fucking whatever you're using, and start finding out the names of these people. Send them messages on Facebook. You can find out the names of people that work at other fucking Trader Joe's, for example, in your area. Lol, Kick, whatever. I don't know. I never used Kick. I never used any of it, but I just know there's fucking tons of these little fucking group messenger things that you can set up and create a fucking group of people and start talking and organizing and let the word spread store to store. All you need is one or two people to get on it at the store, and then they get the other people on it. Gab.ai or whatever the fuck. Yeah, use fucking Omegle. Use chat roulette. Only problem is that they will be monitored. Well, maybe, but the company, like, if you are smart about your organizing and you only let people join that are vetted as actual fucking employees, you can mitigate that. You can do that, but you'll be watched. You'll be watched, but you won't be listened to. There is no chat roulette anymore. Yeah, I know. That was the joke. Just as leftism was a needed update to classical Marxist theory necessitated by technological progress, the current era requires yet another revision of philosophy. I tend to agree. If discord becomes the biggest hub of union organizing, will it get removed from the Apple and Google app stores? If it does, then you move the organizing to a different fucking locale. I mean, group texts on your phone. I mean, come on. Let's get real here. One of these like anonymous text interceding things, the kind that you use sometimes to communicate with your dealer, wink wink. Set that up. Get a big fucking giant group text going. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. I mean, come on. Come on. Let's get with it. I think you guys might just have to deal with the lens flare, although it sucks for me too. God damn it. Am I going to have to move where I'm sitting? I think I am. All right, let you guys just look at the trees for a minute. Enjoy the trees while I rearrange myself here. This necessitates a rearranging of things. Oh, fuck. And I made coffee, too. Yeah, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to grab some coffee. I'll be right back. Let me move this chair. See if I can mitigate this sun problem here a little bit. There we go. All right. Be right back. All right. Nasty. What's nasty? What happened? I work for Panera as a delivery driver, and my job position is going to be discontinued nationally due to market competition with DoorDash. They offered us basically nothing as assistance for losing pay. Sorry to hear that. Welcome to America. This is America. Lost my job at Panera. If you live near an airport, I always hear lots of planes go by. That sounds like a plane to you, bro? 300 seconds. Sorry. That probably fucking transferred to everybody. Paul, I'm in a bind here. I got to get up real early tomorrow, and I need to fall asleep quickly. Could you help a brother with a lullaby? No. No more lullabies. The cosmic spiders are creeping, creeping, creeping. The cosmic spiders are creeping closer and closer to us. Their jaws are literally foaming. They're foaming. They're foaming. Their jaws are literally foaming as they come for us. He's asleep. Well, this was a great time to join the stream. See, look, put him right to sleep. Put him right to sleep. God bless him. You guys see this shit? You see this gray happening? Holy fuck, it's crazy. I'm gonna be a silver fox soon. It's happening. It's happening. Silver Fox Paul. Silver Fox Paul. It's time, homies. The salt and pepper lord, not just the lord of salt. I got a big fight with my mother. She called the cops on me from another zip code. What? How'd the shit with the cops go yesterday? No clue. I didn't see him. I didn't see him leave. I didn't hear any fucking more cops show up. I didn't hear any gunshots or anything. So I assume everything was taken care of. Hopefully nobody was arrested or anything, because it was definitely unnecessary. But I don't know. Have you ever considered being a model? Strike a pose. Come on, Vogue. Let your body move to the music. Hey, hey, hey. Come on, Vogue. Vogue. Let your body go with the flow. You know you can do it. Look around. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. I miss Madonna, man. I was a big Madonna fan when I was a kid. That's a tidbit that I may have not shared with all of you. I fucking loved Madonna. I was a big fan of like a lot of female pop stars when I in the '80s when I was a wee little lad. I liked Cyndi Lauper and I liked Madonna. I liked a lot of them. I've like forgotten their names. There was a song called "Walk Like an Egyptian," very culturally appropriative song. The Bangles, I think, did that. There's a lot of like, yeah, the Bangles. Thanks. I was right. Dude, see, I gotta fucking get with Marshall. He is offered me, and I've not taken him up on spending some time helping getting me started on fucking FL Studio. Because I think, dude, Walk Like an Egyptian, that could be sampled for a beat. Oops, too much weed. What? What? Yeah, it's got a groovy bass line, yeah, for sure. Walk like a dinosaur. A yay. How is Dinosaur? He's sleeping. Yeah, Dinosaur doesn't get up until both of us are up. Amelia's sleeping in. I don't think she went to bed at the same time as me. Maybe she did. Just sleepy. So she hasn't gotten up and around yet. And so Dinor is in there curled up like a little warm teddy bear, helping her sleep. Then when she gets up, he'll get up. Paul, you look like you had an epiphany. An epiphany? Will you get a pit bull? I've seen you be timed out already for dumb shit, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of you. Go make another account. Yeah, Dinor's a good boy. Walk like an Egyptian. Dun 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 dun. Do you beatbox? I do not. I do not. All the cops in the donut shop say, way oh, way oh, way oh, way oh. Walk like an Egyptian. Yeah, dude, remix. All these haters and these fake ass players say, way oh, way oh, way oh, way oh. Walk like a Beauregard. Dun 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 dun. Is it happening? I think it just happened. I think magic just happened. Bring! Would you survive if you were forced at gunpoint to watch all Pokemon movies? They make one every year. No, I would not. You just burned the garlic? That sucks, bro. You got to start over. Burned garlic is the worst. You got to start over, man. You can't burn that garlic. You got to shave it down. Get that razor blade out like in fucking Goodfellas and shave it thin so it liquefies in the pan with the oil. Oh my God. Order 66 on stupid questions. Instant ban, no timeout. Order 66 for the duration of this fucking stream. Dumbass, stupid questions. Dumb, done. I'd rather stare at an empty chat. They say when you stare at the empty chat also stares back into you. If you could, would you rather travel to the past or the future? The future. Paul hates the prequels, but uses a term from it. Hey, the sun's got to shine on a dog's ass at some time during every day. Think about that. Let that bake your fucking noodle. Why the future? Because, you know, I don't know. The past would be fun. Like, it'd be cool to go into the deep past, like the pre-human antediluvian past, you know. But I just think it'd be cool to see how it all turns out. Take a look 100 years in the future. 200 years, 10,000 years, 20,000 years, 50,000 years. See how it all shakes out. You think The Rock would win the presidency if he ran? Probably. Probably so. Why not? Donald Trump won and might win another term. Like, he might come back in 2024 and win again. So, yeah. Now's the time, dude. Jesse Ventura needs to run. If ever a wrestler was going to become president, it was him. He needs to run. Now, I like to imagine a non-invasive observational way of going to the future, like being something like a ghost, because you exist outside of time. You can't see or interact with anything directly, but you can see all of the things that you're observing. So you could technically walk around, but you're just imperceptible to everything, so that you don't, fuck with a timeline or accidentally fucking travel or accidentally get killed or whatever the fuck, you're just not existent. But you can see, you can observe, you can listen, you can watch, you can, take a look. I've always thought that the coolest fucking like ultra superpower for me would be like some kind of instantaneous travel, like think like Dr. Manhattan style shit, where you can just kind of go anywhere you want in the existent universe, view it from any fucking angle that you want, get as close as you want, become part of it, move through it and in and out of it, and just see all of the cosmic wonders that are out there outside of our reach, up close. That would be fucking dope. Instantly travel to the next Pizza Hut. You know me too well. What things would you most like to see in the future? And what thing would you be most disappointed to see? What things would I most like to see in the future? I mean, I would love to go like travel like 10,000 years into the future and see these beautiful like nature arcologies where human beings have realized the fragility of their planet and have created these kind of like far futuristic arcology structures where gardens hang down over the edge of buildings and cities are built within habitats and in concert with habitats. And we found technology that doesn't necessitate us, completely strip mining the earth of every resource. And that would be fucking dope. Like some kind of Jacques Fresco future, That would be cool. What would I hate to see? Just some horrible fucking bombed out industrial nightmare, A world devoid of most life. Just teeming with our trash. How long did it take you to grow your beard? I've had this beard for like going on a decade now. But it's, it's not going to grow no more. It's reached its apex. All the cops in the donut shop say. How do you feel about the Zeitgeist movement? I assume you don't like it due to their split with the Venus Project back in the day. I really don't know enough about it to get into it. Paul Sycophant. Wow, Paul, you're a great singer. All right, I like you. All right, I like you. You can hang around until you get annoying, and then I'll ban you. I like that troll. Would have been better with a picture, though. Like an actual, like, profile picture, and not just, like, the I just created this kind of look that you've got going on now. I miss George Costanza. He'll be back. Don't worry. His dumb ass will return. He's been banned many a time before, and he's still here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thanks for chilling. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.